Alright guys, so welcome back to JorDan's Medieval Brawl. Got Hera spawning here as the mines on the left side of the map. With Villese spawning here on the lower side of the map. Red Trunks on Kema. So I believe this is actually the game number 1 in their series. I can just check really quickly. So here on Arabia, really small map. The players don't have too much difficulty trying to wall themselves in, I don't think, on the newer, well, it's been out for a few years now, but the newish version of Arabia. So this is actually their game number 1, sorry, so best of 3, winner of this will take the first game in the series. But they'll still need to win a second one to progress through to the next round. So Kema, I haven't actually casted many Kema games recently, but you don't have any prerequisite buildings if you do want to go for quick age up, so quick castle should be pretty easy in theory. And you can honestly, if you do get a wall off up, you can just park your farms right at the back of your base, rather than having to worry about putting them down around the town centre, because you don't actually have to do drop-offs for farming. And villages can garrison in houses as well, so realistically, you can set up farms anywhere as long as there's houses nearby and use that for your garrisoning. The access to the ballista elephant. And double projectile scorpions. So Hera on the mines gonna have their nice eco boosts and nice infantry and skirmishers, as well as access to those plumed archers. So Hera aging up now, looking at getting on this lumber camp as well. Villese's already on a second lumber camp, starting to get that wall off up as the Kema player. Hera looking to it's a barracks now, but I mean he's already aging up, so I don't know if it's really to go for any militia and man-at-arms here, if he's probably just looking to try and, you know, get this so he can go for his range and maybe even get, if he needs to, get some spearmen, but otherwise just mainly play around his range. Like how Hera cancelled that palisade, then instantly started building it again because of the scout cav. Just walling up that back chunk to make sure he's well and truly safe here. So he's going to go for the range. Not going to start any stables unit production just yet, but he might need to, considering Villese is going to play around some scout cav. And Hera with Loom. So the one thing I will spoil about H2 is he was a little bit late on his Loom and did lose a villager to it. Won't really spoil anything else about the game though. Why did you cast game 2 before you casted game 1? Well, because I fucking can. That's why. Consider yourselves lucky I'm casting game 1. So, Villese, momentarily cutting military production. He's got 3 bills in the queue there. But no military on the way for him just yet. Hera still making archers, stopped spearman production for the time being. So Villese trying to take an engagement here, forcing some villages to garrison, going to cost a bit of gather time, and I mean one of those villages is really quite low now. I'm just not going to want to bleed too much health off this cavalry pack, because that'll take only a tap from the spearman or the eagle scout once it gets to warrior to really wreck these guys. So Hera will be content just to sit here and try and get to castle age. He's pretty well walled in for the moment. He's going to need stone to try and get a third town center, or go for castle behind his second town center. But I mean, he's got some stone he can access here as well. So Villese also pretty well walled off for the minute, and still sitting on a bunch of archers while he's actually got skirmishers banked up. Here, obviously going for archers. So Villese, he's actually got 3 feudal age buildings. He would have only needed, well, he would have needed none for Cameron. You normally only need 2 to get to castle, but I mean, he wants to play around a range and the stables and start getting some upgrades before he worries about going to castle here. Because at the moment he's forcing Hera to keep making some military. He's had to make a spearman, had to make some archers, although the archers are obviously going to be countered by the skirmishers, so they are just parking in the town center at the moment. So obviously, once this castle age transition hits for Hera, he can take crossbows. Then he's on a civ that's going to play around archers for most of the game, so you know, beelining his archer techs, like getting fletching, getting that crossbow and bodkin arrow as soon as he ages. And a couple more archers in between now and then, if you can afford to fit them in. Definitely a way to play early on a civ like the Mines, or well, really any archer civ in particular. I mean, but they in particular have quite a great eco to start with to make it an amazing push, because the archers are cheaper as well, especially once you do get to castle and imp. So they're almost trash archers. I mean, they still cost gold, but they cost that much reduced gold, particularly later on. They almost become trash units. Almost. So Villese still applying the pressure. Hasn't lost any of those scout cav for a little while now, so really trying to cut through those palisades. Force Hera to be overactive with the archer ball before he can really hit critical mass and get that upgrade combo that he's also going to be looking to get behind this. So he's getting crossbow, and can he afford bodkin? Yeah, he can afford bodkin, so he's going to take that as well. So it'll be both a damage and range and a damage and health upgrade. Well, Villese is going to have to try and get castle age, get the knights, so castle's kicking in. He's getting some knights, getting his skirmisher upgrade in the way of elite skirmisher. So give these guys what he needs to fight back, as well as getting bodkin. So he'll also be getting health, damage and range. for the range versus range matchup there. Well, the Knights are going to be a little bit tankier over the Scout Cav, so they're going to fare better against the Eagle Scouts. It's a scary range ball there for Hera, but Villese's got a nice mixed composition that in theory is all just counter units against it. So more archers being thinned out here at the same time. The skirmisher count isn't that high, and they are also punching a hole in the cavalry, so Villese pulling only slightly ahead out of that fight, I think, in terms of what's on the field, and Hera's actually leading the kills slightly. And up by 6 villages because he's gone double town center. Well, I mean triple town center. Villese going for his third now as well, slightly slower third town center, but is on the way. But our players will probably be looking to try and castle soon here. No one's actually gathering any stone yet, so they are trying to get that siege transition first for Hera, and Villese just continuing to add to this composition for now. Just getting used to spending on 3 TC plus with all the military that they are. Hera obviously looking to try and fit Mangonel in now as well, because if we can get a shot off on these skirmishers and kill most of them, the crossbow should be able to just lapse on top of the Knights and ruin their day as well. Villese just chipping away at some of the farms. It's going to cost a bit of wood. Hera, garrison there. And the skirm's going to be able to fight on pretty even footing there because they weren't all engaging. Normally, even number of skirms fighting crossbows, the skirms just flat out win, but not when some of them are attacking farms and villages. Ooh, and that split not really working too well there for Villese. Sort of accidentally microed into it. So 3 skirmishes falling pretty much for free there. A bit of a slowdown here, and it doesn't look like anybody's going for stone yet, so they're just sitting on 3 town center trying to grow their armies as it is, finish off the rest of the upgrades that they've got to get, like their armor upgrades, considering they've both been playing so heavily around damage on the ranged units in particular. So Villese going to add some mangonels, get some siege himself, while Hera's going to start crossing the field, trampling over the bodies of the fallen. Hera looking to snatch up some of the relics lying on the outskirts of the map. Just waiting for Villese to come to him at this point. Villese not wanting to overextend for the moment. The Eagle Warrior is going to be able to catch one of the mangonels here, and that's really quite a nice snipe because these things are not cheap. And the Knights really only going to be able to catch them after quite a chase. Villese creeping forward. Ooh, and that's a nice attack ground command there. Actually hitting the mangonel because it marches in it. Blow for blow with the mangonels. That one getting a nice shot off on those skirmishers. So Villese committing pretty heavily to try and get that mangonel. Now having to evacuate the knights. So Mangonel not faring too well, hasn't really gotten the value he's been looking for. And Hera's has managed to get a great shot off there. Ooh. I think the use of the Mangonels has really favoured Hera here so far. Villese down 10 villagers, so I think he must have just... He was down 6 or 7 when the third town centre hiss was going up, so I think he's... Yeah, neither player's really managed to knock each other's economy around all that much. But Hera, I think, has definitely walked out the victor of a lot of these smaller engagements so far, and he's looking to snatch more relics up. So relic count is 2 already, and he's got 1 on the way. So Villese pressure's on to try and win the next fight or draw Hera out so he can actually deal a bit of damage. Hera looking to get outposts around the map. So a forward castle here for Hera going to help defend all this. Villese in the meanwhile. Back at home, he hasn't really felt a lot of pressure on him in his base at all for a long time now. Going to add a 4th town centre over this way. Because we've got 3 here for Hera. No, 4. So 4 for Hera. 4 for Villese now, so he should be able to close that villager gap. At least stop it from growing for the time being. Catching a villager out there at the outpost, but he's going to lose a Mangonel. Going to try and avoid having one converted. Dropping another knight too. And so another Mangonel getting picked off there by Hera. So he's doing well with the Mangonel engagements at the moment. This monk, so unlike Aztecs and Mayans, even though they're going to be just as likely to field monks, they're not going to be able to benefit from the fact that Aztecs are going to get 5 health on top of the upgrade normal benefit every upgrade that monks can get. So Mayan monks is mostly just to try and convert cavalry and siege. Aztec monks end up, well, they're not really a tank, but they just end up being a lot harder to try and snipe. There's a monk. We're heading up there. Might be able to convert a knight. Hera's going to attempt to put some pressure on. He's probably going to have to go to Imperial to deal. Well, sorry, he already has gone to Imperial, but he's probably going to have to get trebuchets to start dealing some serious damage to Villese's base. Peripheral castle here, and let's start walling up, keep himself really safe. Good timing on that market, but there we go, he's going to quick wall himself in. Very smart. Villese is going to have to come up with something. There's a lot of villagers garrisoned, aren't gathering. He's just going to have to have them run out here or something, unless he can clean this up. Can't really find somewhere into the base. He's going to have to come back with the Cavalier. Some idlers up here he needs to do something with. Can possibly just gather off that gold mine just outside of range, if that's what he's looking to do. So he is struggling a little bit for gold. He could always bring them back here if he wants. So I don't know why. He's got 7 idlers up here for some reason. Just chilling, just doing nothing. So the garrison villages end up being a little bit useful there. As Villese, you know, starting to engage in territory, but GG, Villese taps out. I don't know why he's got all these idlers up here. What's the go? What are these guys doing? Are they supposed to try and get on the gold, or try and go for like a siege workshop or castle that he could never quite afford? And yeah, GG. Hera takes the game there.